Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and once again I've got Nick Burafedo from Link2 with me in Las Vegas, and he's sitting here and he's gonna, I'm gonna play this video. I've got the sound turned off because I'm sure there's copyright stuff in there. I'm gonna play the video while Nick tells you about Axiom Space, which is like the coolest thing since SpaceX on the Link2 platform.
Thanks. You know, Axiom is a new company that's on our platform. And while SpaceX provides travel to space, Axiom is actually commissioned to build the new space station. So literally, Axiom's new space station is going to take the place of the International Space Station. And the way they're going to do it is they're going to install the first module onto the ISS by 2025 to 2026 is when the first module will be installed. And then they'll build out the new station on the old station, and then they'll decommission the old station. But it's so amazing, this company, what they're doing, all the contracts that they have, all the different companies that want to do that want to go to space to run medical tests, manufacturing that they want to do in space, things that they can't do on Earth, like make specific lenses for optical for the optics industry. Axiom Space. So if you're a member of Link2 and you haven't invested in Axiom Space, take a look at it. Call us at Link2 if you want to talk about it. If you're not an investor at Link2 and you're looking for something really exciting, I'm telling you, Axiom Space is very, very exciting. And the person running the show at Axiom Space, he is actually Michael Suffrandini. And he used to run the ISS program for NASA, I think for 30 years. So it's amazing. Wow. Yeah, we're really excited. Honestly, I mean, you know, most of your listeners obviously are Ripple folks, and you and I are Ripple folks. But I would say that Axiom is probably one of the biggest names, if not the biggest name, that's ever hit the Link2 platform. And what it's going to do to drive new members to Link2 is going to be amazing. So Axiom Space, take a look at it.
Awesome. That is just watching that video. These guys, are they doing stuff with SpaceX too?
Well, actually, Axiom will end up being SpaceX's largest customer because all of the modules and all of the parts and everything that they need to bring up to space needs to get delivered by SpaceX. Actually, in November there'll be a launch. We don't have a date yet, but there will be a launch. So yeah, SpaceX and Axiom are working together.
Check out this guy's take. He's got a little different take on the bricks.
Okay, I don't want to be.
I'm not going to play the whole thing. It's 7:49. I just want to play the first minute and a half or so.
Or to sort of dampen the collective enthusiasm that people have these days about the alleged emerging multipolarity in the world. But I think we sort of need a bit of a reality check. What we're seeing with the BRICS project, with multiple countries applying for or are interested in joining BRICS, and the talk about creating an alternative currency for trade between BRICS members and so on. I think we need to realize that this is not a phenomenon that is ambushing the U.S. or the West. Many people, regular people, may not be aware of this, though it's not secret information by any means. Both the concept of BRICS and the term BRICS was launched by Goldman Sachs some 20 years ago. Goldman Sachs. There was a man named Jim O'Neill, who was the chief of Goldman Sachs back in 2001. And he coined the term BRICS and somewhat arbitrarily grouped Brazil, Russia, India, and China, and later South Africa together, because he predicted that, largely because of demographics, that these economies would grow and overtake the G7 in importance within the next 40 years. He believed that globalization could not sustainably continue to be American dominated, because basically that was just too politically messy. And
how many times have I said on my channel that my dad, who is the official father of the Digital Asset Investor channel, he used to tell me all the time, he'd say, well, nothing happens in finance without JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs. That would, we all see things through the prism of like our politicians and business people selling our country out to China or to this or that. But I think that these guys that are at that level, a lot of them are globalist type thinkers. They see it as just the way the world's moving. What do you think?
Yeah, it's literally they coined the phrase. That's amazing.
Now, Nick, I don't know if it's always a crapshoot as to whether eGrag Crypto is making a joke or if he's actually. But here he says the magnificent bull market line. He's already acknowledged to me that he creates a lot of these terms. He is a chart guy, but I don't know if he just creates the words to make people laugh and get them to pay attention. But here you've got to brace yourselves for a roadmap that points to $40 to $400 as the celestial aims. So, I mean, you were talking about Axiom Space.
Yeah.
Are these things connected?
Well, I just hope he's right. That's all I care about.
Right. Maybe he'll end up being right. Okay. This is interesting because I keep on hearing there's a rumor of Robinhood. And I couldn't remember, did Robinhood ever have XRP listed?
No, not to my knowledge.
I don't think they did either.
I just checked the other day to see if they're suggesting it's coming, but there's nothing on their platform.
Maybe they will. Everybody seems to think that would be huge. Now this is one of those Ripple, what are they? 60-second slots. This is one of the guys in, I think, payments from Ripple. Listen to this.
How can blockchain improve payments? Hi, my name is Brendan Barry, and this is Crypto in a Minute. So when I think about payments, the three core concepts that need to be improved upon are cost, speed, and reliability. Have already solved for those problems. But when you make a payment across countries, that's where friction between systems increases cost, decreases reliability, and ultimately makes the payment much more slow. With blockchain, the technology was created, purpose-built to solve those problems. So when you can use blockchain or cryptocurrency to move funds, you can now do so to anyone in the globe instantaneously at a low cost, very high speed with extremely high reliability. I made it under a minute.
You did it.
You mind if I chime in?
Yep.
One of the things that I've been kind of speaking about on Twitter and speaking about at Link to whenever I speak with members is a lot of people in the digital asset space, specifically Ripple and XRP space. There's a lot of new people here, and they don't know the basics. They don't understand, how ODL actually works, how it benefits the consumer, obviously the speed of it, and then also how it benefits the financial institution, because there's these Nostro accounts that financial institutions, and what a Nostro account means is ours, right? So it means our money in your country. And if Bank of America, for instance, is here in the United States and wants to send money to the 180 countries that they can send money to, they technically have to have pre-funded accounts in all 180 countries. Yep. So that if you, the digital asset investor, wants to send me money in Mexico, they have to have that account pre-funded in Mexico. One of the beauties, if you're newer to Ripple and following this whole thing, one of the beauties for the financial institutions is in the use of XRP. Those pre-funded accounts are no longer needed. And Ripple has estimated over the years, and these are their numbers, not my numbers, $15 to $27 trillion of dormant capital can then come home. What do you think these financial institutions can do with all that money if they brought it back home?
Do you remember? Many of you don't know, but when I interviewed Greg Kidd, was that 3 years ago now, 2 or 3 years ago? And when I interviewed Greg Kidd, Brad Combs and Nick Burafedo are the ones that helped me come up with the questions to ask him. Do you remember when Greg Kidd, that subject came up, and I asked, I can't remember exactly how it happened, but he literally says, well, XRP would literally replace those Nostro votes.
Yeah, and it's gotten lost. It's companies, sales organizations and companies tend to get away from the basics because they just think through osmosis everybody knows how it works. And even Ripple has been a little bit guilty of this, and I would hope that they would get back to the basics. Talk about RippleNet. Talk about the difference between using just RippleNet and RippleNet with ODL, and the benefit of choosing RippleNet with ODL. And I would encourage, if you're newer to following Ripple and XRP, do your research, learn about that stuff. It's probably even bigger and a lot more exciting than you thought it was.
So check this out. So John Deaton commented on this, and this is MasterCard and Visa are distancing themselves from Binance. And John is talking about how a while back there were rumors of CZ Binance being indicted by the DOJ, and that's what he's talking about here. That he's wondering if they're distancing themselves because of that. That could get interesting. And then let me see what else I got here. Yeah, I'll play this. This is Rich Dad Poor Dad Robert Kiyosaki talking about the
August 22nd, 2023 of this year in Johannesburg, South Africa, the BRICS nations are meeting. BRICS stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China.
Don't you like how these TikTok videos, they put horror film music?
South Africa.
I'm getting scared.
I don't ever have to worry about that music on here because it's all not copyright stuff. So anytime I see TikTok, they've got all these.
Being mean to you. The BRICS nation in Johannesburg, South Africa, 22 August 2023.
What it means to me is that if they create this currency backed by gold, Robert, this will be the largest transfer of wealth between nations we will ever see in the history of money.
The BRICS were just 5 nations a while ago. They estimate by the time the meeting comes in, there may be 41 nations.
Sure.
They're so pissed off that the United States ripping us off paying fake money. Even the BRICS nations are pissed off. But Americans? No, we have no idea. But the BRICS are pissed. And so they're going to join up and they're going to say, we're not going to take your piece of toilet paper anymore. What does that mean, Kevin?
Well, 2 things. I want to go back. Those 5 countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, that's 40% of the population of the world. 3.2 billion people is 40% of the population. With just those 5 countries, you start adding in more countries, where's the tipping point? You get to 50% or 60% of the people, the dollar's gone.
August 20th.
I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe. Hit the like button and tell your friends and family that Nick had this to say.
Mr. B and DAI are loose in Las Vegas.
Thanks for listening.
Bye-bye.